What's up, SNA Assassinators? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. And this is the wrestling news on July 14th for you all today, where I'm going to be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories that you SNA Assassinators need to know from the Wrestle Talk article. Make sure to watch until the very end because we're going to have plenty of intriguing wrestling news for you guys. And we're going to start off on today with some with a AEW signing confirmed. And it says right here, after questions regarding their contract status, a previously thought to be a free agent uh, has been confirmed to have signed with to AEW, courtesy to a new report. Following spells working WWE, TNA, and Stardom, among others, like Rachel Ellering has since became somewhat regular on presence on ROH TV, competing in 17 matches on the brand. Following these consistent appearances, Ellering's presence on the ROH roster page was then noticed, leading to the assumption that she had joined the company officially. Following this, Fightful Select were contacted via their Discord channel, with an inquiry regarding Ellering's status and whether she had in fact been quietly signed to AEW without receiving an official. Receiving an official, Rachel Ellering is all elite social media graphic, and that turns out to have been the case, as Fightful Select have reported that Ellering is not only signed with AEW, but she has been for quite some time. As noted in the report, although all elite graphics are usually used when talent such as Ellering officially sign it. It is not always the case, leading to situations such as this one. Ellering's last TV on AE. Last match on AEW TV came on July 6th on Rampage, where she took on former AEW Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa in a losing effort. And what is your thoughts on Rachel Ellering is officially now all elite? And even though I haven't seen the roster page on neither AEW nor Ring of Honor, but I figured she was the way they had her wrestling, even though even they have her wrestling, if she's been on AEW for quite some time, or and that's because she's been wrestling on ROH for the last few weeks. But yeah, what's your reactions of her being all elite? And do you knew she was a whole time, despite the losing effort with Thunder Rosa? I sure think she was, in a way, and especially with her getting attacked from behind by Deonna Purrazzo. Something tells me next Friday on Rampage we could see her facing her in a match, on the pre-taped a pre-taped Rampage, right after AEW Dynamite this week, when they're going to be in Little Rock, Arkansas, for the 250th episode. But let's move on to the next slide. Let's talk about we got a top free agent drop future tease amid WWE and AEW rumors. Potential WWE and AEW targets Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley of the Motor City Machine Guns have waved goodbye in the indie event Back in April, Body Slam reported that All Elite Wrestling were close to signing the former TNA and Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, the Motor City Machine Guns, after they ended their run with TNA Wrestling. However, the deal hadn't been signed up to that point, and there was no update following this. At the July 12th Prestige Wrestling Combat Clash event, Chris Sabin and defeated Alex Shelley. After the bout, the duo hugged and waved goodbye to the fans with commentary suggesting that this may be the last time they appear in Prestige. A recent report from PWN have suggested that the Motor City Machine Guns are now talking to higher ups from WWE after becoming free agents in on the beginning of April, on April 1st exactly. Current WWE Tag Team Champion Tommaso Ciampa further fueled those rumors by posting a photo of the duo in his on his Instagram stories. Shelley also hinted at a possible move to WWE by revealing that he is finishing up with his indie dates on his Instagram post, which reads, "This past week, I celebrated the 4th of July by maybe uh, having my final match at Beyond Wrestling for a while." And here's the post right here. We're on X, where the Machine Guns finally had their final match. But what is your thoughts on Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin? Chris Sabin leaving to possibly sign with any of these two major promotions, and which one do you think they're going to sign with after they finish up in the Indies? Do you think they're AEW bound or WWE bound? Let me know in the comment section right down below. But it's mostly been rumors and speculating that they could sign with WWE because one, they talked to some higher ups in the company, and also two, there's some say that they spotted them doing so by being, and I'm not sure it was the headquarters or the performance center. I don't know where they meet up with these management kind of guys at, whether if it was in Orlando or Stanford. But they did say that they look like they're a pinch away from striking a deal. But AEW also wants a shot at them. I want to sign them in as well. But it seems like they're going to be going to WWE. Some say that they're going to be going over to NXT, despite their 20 years of experience in pro wrestling. And normally you would say, they don't need no development. All they need is to get onto the main show. But unfortunately, I don't think that anybody in WWE doesn't think like that. They're well, not just because of the developments, so they can add more prestige in the tag division, because in NXT, because the SmackDown and Raw tag division are doing pretty decent, and it's not like they need them right now. But then again, they could bring them over to SmackDown after one half of the tag team champions and one half of the DIY could tease them being in WWE by showing a picture of them, which I believe he's known them for a long time as well, in their especially in their days in the Indies, and I believe in Impact as well. So that would make sense for that other reason why that he showed pictures of these guys. But we're just gonna have to wait and see what decision they make on which American pro wrestling company they're going to be landing to next. But let's move on to the next slide, and let's talk about an absent WWE star resumes in-ring training. After a lengthy absence since 2023, former WWE Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss has started training in the ring again. And yeah, this is some very interesting news. Like we're wondering when's exactly she's going to be showing back up, because it has been a year and a half, and I'm going to talk about more about this after I read this report. Like of this very intriguing news from the former Raw Women's Champion. But Alexa Bliss last wrestled in a WWE ring like at the Rumble 2023, where she lost to Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. The belief that at the time was that she would eventually return to align with the Wyatt Six faction. Oh no, I'll say not the Wyatt Six faction. I mean, you said she will align with once again with Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy at the time in 2023. But it's like those speculation and rumors, however, have been changed since then. With Wyatt being pulled from TV due to heart issues in March before passing away due due to a heart attack in August 2023, which ago, and I continue to give my condolences and my positivity to the family of Wyatt at the heartbreaking time, which it still is to this day. But anyways, meanwhile, Alexa Bliss also became pregnant and gave birth to her first child. She has recently been sharing updates on her in-ring status through social media. Like on July 14th, Alexa Bliss shared a video on her Instagram story of her performing her Twisted Bliss finisher while training in the squared circle. And you can see it right here on this X post. And what was your opinions on her doing that? And it must have been obviously over a year, but maybe almost 2 years the last time I saw her hit that maneuver, maybe since 2022. But correct me if I'm wrong, if that's not the case. But and then she did it in the beginning of 2023. But either way, when do you think that she's going to be making this return? Do you think she will be aligning herself with the Uncle Howdy-led faction? Or do you think she's going to do her own thing? Whether if she's going to be doing something gothic and supernatural-like, or go back as the Little Miss Bliss kind of character? Let me know in the comments of what's your opinions and what's your take. Leave it down below. But let's move on to the next slide. Let's talk about let's move on. Let's talk about some Stephanie Vacker news. As makes her in-ring WWE debut, and we might makes her in-ring WWE debut, which I believe this must be from the Mexico live event that they just had this past weekend. But yeah, the former New Japan Strong Women's Champion Stephanie Vacker made her in-ring WWE debut at last night's July 13th, 2024 live event in Mexico City, Mexico. Despite only announcing the news that she'd signed a few days ago, Vacker has already worked her first WWE match. And at last night's live event, well, it's tonight, but this is from yesterday, but we're going to talk about today. At last night's live event, Stephanie Vacker picked up a win in a singles match against Isla Dawn. WWE had announced that Vacker would be appearing at the show, but hadn't specified that that show would be wrestling. I mean that she will be not sure that she will be wrestling. What's the show? But she would be wrestling. Vancouver reported had a contact offers like from both AEW and WWE off the back of her performance, like at Forbidden Door, like and open. I mean, and opted like to sign with the latter. Although last night's show was a main roster live event, Vancouver like is expected to start her WWE career in NXT. Upon joining WWE, Vancouver pulled out of last night's CMLL show, like meaning she couldn't drop the CMLL World Women's Championship at the event, like instead being stripped of like in earlier in the week. Like AEW's Willow Nightingale won that vacant title last night in a three-way against Luvia Luvia present the Luvia like and Viva Van which Luvia was representing CMLL, and then Viva Van was representing New Japan Pro Wrestling. And what is your thoughts on Stephanie Vacker making her WWE match debut? Did you expect that she was going to be in a match? I sure think she was. I was like, if she's going to be making an appearance, like she's definitely going to be wrestling, because it's not like they're just going to announce it on a live event. Like much rather than officially announce it on one of their weekly shows. Whether if they're going to put it on the main roster on either Raw or SmackDown, or even on the developmental Tuesday night show NXT, which they're going to be doing so probably soon. If they're going to have her wrestle tonight, there's no doubt about she's going to be making her appearance. Like whether if she's going to be confronting like a Roxanne Perez or a Kalani Jordan for either their women's titles, like I think that she's going to be making that debut this Tuesday. And then this is where we'll probably see Ava presenting her to maybe Roxanne. I'll say, but then again, we got Thea Hale asking the challenger. Maybe we'll do some kind of a number one contenders match with Stephanie Vacker taking on Thea Hale for the winner gets to take on Roxanne Perez on NXT. What's that pay-per-view? Not pay-per-view. That special show on August, the beginning of August, of Great American Bash, which that's like 3 days after SummerSlam. And do you think that's going to be the case? Let me know in the comments down below. But for now, I think that we're going to see. But for now, we're just gonna have to speculate for the next couple of days, like if Stephanie Vacker is going to be what's that if the former New Japan Strong Women's and CMLL Women's Champion is going to be a champion, which I think not exactly the Women's World Championship of NXT, maybe the North American Champion, because that belt's probably going to be spoken to Julia, which I believe is the same girl that she beaten for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. But yeah, let me know, what's going to be next in the NXT women's division, because it's starting to get very interesting, because we see women from CMLL and New Japan Pro Wrestling coming in, and possibly even AEW, well, except for the big time stars, only just the ones that are like in the mid card division, but they're elevating themselves right into the main event division. But yeah, who do you think's next that's going to be coming from either TNA or AEW that's going to NXT? Which we saw, Sean Spears and Ethan Page coming from AEW. But who do you think's going to be next if they're going to be making their way out the door to go to the WNXT? I'm not sure. Just give me your speculations in the comments. But yeah, this is very interesting. Like she just defeated Isla Dawn, and she's currently one half of the women's tag team champions. Like that, it shows even though she defeated a women's mid carder, they still in the women's tag division, of course. Like they showed that they have big plans for the former CMLL and New Japan Pro Wrestler. But let's and she just made her WWE debut at a live event almost 2 weeks after wrestling at at AEW's Forbidden Door. Wow, like it just shows you that like wrestling really is must see. Like even for at this time, like where WWE like signs a wrestler that just wrestled for the rival company, whether if they were under a contract with them or not, or doing a partnership with them. But yeah, that's just crazy. And I heard that and it even said on one of the wrestling news sites that Stephanie Vacker was backstage, backstage for the NXT. What's that NX for NXT Heatwave in Toronto? It must look like she was meeting up with Shawn Michaels and them to negotiate a deal of signing with WWE and possibly going to be joining going to be on NXT, which is going to probably be now as soon as this Tuesday, which we're going to have to see if she does. We're going to wait until then, but let's move on. And we got a WWE Legends nephew responds after rejecting AEW faction spot. And yeah, I see where they're coming from here because they're talking about the legendary Dynamite Kid's nephew, Tom Bloomington. But we're gonna start off by saying after the July 13th episode of AEW Collision, the WWE legend, the Dynamite Kid's nephew, Tommy Billington, has responded after rejecting a spot in the Don Callis family. On the July 13th edition of AEW Collision, Konosuke Takeshita defeated the Dynamite Kid, Tommy Bloomington, or Billington, not Bloomington, Billington, like in a singles action, and after the match, Don Callis offered Billington a spot on the Don Callis family, but Billington quickly rejected the offer, leading to a Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher jumping Billington until we got the returning FTR. I made the save in a digital exclusive interview following Collision. Billington explained decide to turn down Don Callis's family. He said, Don Callis, you thought you thought that was clever, using my own family's blood to try and manipulate me into joining that gang, of gang of misfits, of yours. Gang of misfits of yours. Well, my statement still stands. He also said, you can kiss my ass, Takeshita. You need to realize and wake up. Don does nothing but chew wrestlers up and spit them out. Don